Live. Woo!
Well,
From New York.
Well, that was the point where I was going to start to say the title of the show and all that.
Hey, Jeremy did it first, so man.
Good job. Good job on the whole break.
Keith, it's number 25.
Oh, yeah.
I already got it on there, dude.
Great show. It's a great show.
So, hi, everyone. This is Keith.
Hello.
It's PNRShow Season 3, Episode 25. And if you don't like the energy, Rob, suck it.
I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife. I'd prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager.
Wow, it's a good thing Keith's not dicking bimbos. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you missed the pre-show. Ha-ha.
Everyone missed the pre-show. There was no pre-show.
Some things are better meant off the air. But if you really want to know what it's about, go Google it, and you'll find out. All right, from a deep, dark, really used corner of the interwebs, it's the Pint of No Return show. Tonight, we get unlucky. And that's right, unlucky, or is it lucky? With something, a little something from Lagunitas. We're going to talk about a planetoid going poot-poot on its moon. And Netflix rising from the bandwidthial depths. Plus, our picks for the week in our half-pint segment. But now, let me introduce the stars of the show, Keith, Jeremy, and Gary. And I'm Rob. Hi, guys.
Hey, Rob. Hi.
Works. How's everybody doing?
I don't know. Great.
I would like to start the show off by saying we are joined by cinematic royalty. That's right, Frankenstein has decided to make an appearance this evening, and we didn't know, none of us knew that he was hiding in the very unassuming visage of one Jeremy Brooks. If you look, Jeremy's got a really nice scar. Oh, ew, it looks like it's opening. When you did that, it looked like it was kind of opening like a mouth.
The shadows.
Wow. So,
Halloween came early.
Jeremy, I don't know how much you want to share or feel like sharing, but I mean, I just feel like knowing because there is a very large scar on the camera.
A little bit, yeah. Well, the story,
on your neck.
depending on who I'm talking to, it's either Melissa finally had enough of me, or I asked for a raise at work. So, take it. No, just surgery, and it looks a lot worse than it is. There's almost no pain, and it hasn't even been a week. So, I'm feeling really good.
Yeah,
good enough to drink a bunch of beer.
I mean, we've been doing the show together for like 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I like to consider us friends, although we've actually never met in person. But I like to consider us friends. And one day, and Keith and Jeremy's just been doing the podcast, no problem, hasn't said anything. One day, we're on our little Slack chat, and he puts up a little picture of his neck, just like he's
says, oh, by the way, I won't make the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be there. My throat is slit open like a Thanksgiving turkey. We're like, okay.
I forgot to mention my planned surgery.
Yeah. First of all,
for the day of the show.
First of all, selfish. Second of all, didn't say a word. But all kidding aside, we're very glad Jeremy's doing good. I want you to put that right after I got nice battle. Sure.
All kidding aside.
Man, Keith is a dicking bimbo. All right. So, gentlemen, we're going to revisit one of, I think I would, if I can speak for the three of you, one of your favorite breweries, or breweries, depending where you live. We're back to Lagunitas. And they have a Mondo Large Red Ale that they like to affectionately call Lucky 13. Anybody had this beer before?
Yes. Yeah, we have. Gary's done it on the show as a bring your own beer. I believe I've had it here and there. We've done a couple other Lagunitas brews too. We did the Censored and their Nighttime, which is a black IPA.
I love Nighttime.
Yeah, Lagunitas does distribute nationally, but a lot of their more interesting brews are not. They're pretty limited to your guys' area. So it's kind of neat to see some of the more interesting Lagunitas stuff come out.
Is this a beer that you can get out there, or is it?
No,
you can't.
I haven't seen this one out here yet.
They call it a limited release, but it's been around these parts for a really long time.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a seasonal, so it shows up pretty regularly, and it's
a limited release. But it was first brewed in celebration of their first profitable business year in 2006.
After 13 years of brewing, so it looks like it's available April through June annually. So we see it pretty regularly.
It was on tap at the brewery when I was there about a few weeks ago. So
nice.
I would like
through June, unless you're on Hill.
If you'll direct your attention to the side of the bottle, I'd like to read for the public the ingredients in Lucky 13. It contains 12 fluid ounces of hops, malt, hops, yeast, hops, water, and hops.
So you're going to like this a lot,
This beer was pretty much made for Rob.
Jeremy's already spoken once tonight about how he's going to make me mad. I guess he's doing it twice. So, good on you. Let's open it and smell the hops.
I didn't say it would make you mad. I said it would send you on a tangent. Not in a bad way. Oh, that smells so good.
Whoa, there's some hops there. There's a little nose.
Yeah, it's the grapefruit variety, folks.
Holy cow! I mean, I like the hops, as you all know, but smelling this directly from the bottle, it's actually making my eyes water. That's how much
very powerful
hop nose is coming off of this thing.
Very powerful. 8.8% alcohol by volume, so that's going to make Gary happy.
They only give it 55 IBUs, so as hoppy goes, it's not super bitter. It's more of that, like you said, floral.
It's really got a nose on it. For 55 IBUs, I wouldn't guess that based on the nose.
Yeah.
We put it somewhere around 90.
I don't know. I can definitely smell that red ale quality, though. Even through the hops, you get that. You can tell just by the nose that it's a red ale.
Yeah, they're not calling it an IPA.
Yeah,
it's a nice color. It is a little darker than an IPA. It's definitely got a red tint. When I hold it up to the light, you can see the red and not the golden brown of an IPA.
Yeah.
So good malt picks to make a red.
All right. I guess we're going to have to drink this.
Well, Rob, you have to read the other side of the label, too, that says, life is uncertain. Don't sip.
Yeah, well.
So we got to this is a gulper, Rob.
This does say right on the side, too, in California, I can get a cash refund, although I guess that's just for the bottle.
Yeah, I'm sure that's your 10-cent bottle.
Damn it. All right, here we go. Lagunitas, Lucky 13, Prost.
I don't know about that 55. I think my number is a little more accurate.
Yeah.
That 55 is awfully conservative.
Definitely got some hops going on there. But you know what? I don't get a huge amount of bitterness from it.
No.
No, it's very grapefruity. Not
the
so much
piney. Coming from my hatred.
Rob has absorbed all the bitterness for us, and will spew it out shortly. It's a good pairing with the red, though. I like the extra malt from the red with the more than 55 IBUs.
The amount of hops in here really needs that extra sweet malty backbone, I think. And it really helps balance it. And to me, it's a really balanced beer because it's not all about bitterness and hop flavor and punching you in the throat. Don't punch me in the throat.
Just the man with the gash in his throat.
But yeah, I think this is a nicely balanced beer, and the alcohol is not too overwhelming. You know it's there, but it's not crazy. A nice, easy to drink, refreshing, delicious beer. Lagunitas, man, they do good stuff. I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It's right there. It's got the bright and bold hop flavor. but it's got some nice dark and sweet malts to back it up. And somehow, with all those big malts, it's not sticky sweet at all either, like brown sugar and a few other beers can be. So it's very clean finish too. So this is a great drinker, very approachable. Goes down a little too easy. Yeah, an 8, definitely.
So I've had this before. I'm trying to see what I rated it previously to see if I agree with myself. I do. That's good to know. So I'm gonna give this a 9. I love this beer. Lagunitas is known, obviously, for that West Coast IPA, very hoppy, pretty much hoppy everything that they do. But I think that this has, like these guys said, a nice balance of the red ale and the maltiness to it, with some hops starting on top. So I'm going to give this a 9 because I absolutely love this beer, and I wish it was year-round, but I'm kind of glad it's not because it makes me enjoy it all the more that it is something that I can only get part of the year. And
I can imagine this on tap being even better. So
yeah, I've never had it on tap at the brewery. I've only had it in bottles. Next time I go, then they have it, I will definitely be ordering it on tap just to see how much better it can be. So I'm going to give it a 9. Which averages out to a 6.25 if I count Rob 0. Oh, wait, he has to give it at least a 1.
No, he's showing us his score right now.
6.5. Okay.
The one finger on his face.
Yeah, there is just something missing from this, and I cannot put my finger on it. What is missing? Oh, it's missing.
Sorry.
It's missing 2 letters. That's right. U and N. Unlucky 13. Because this sucks. Yeah, it's bad. The hops are just overpowering the beer. It's bitter. It's up front, punches you in the face. It doesn't blend well. It just kind of sits. I hate the floral hops. Just hate it, hate it, hate it. But I have to admire capitalism, and Lagunitas is making a profit, so I'll give it a 3.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's definitely not missing alcohol is a thing at 8.5%. That's pretty high for a red ale, I think. So Beer Advocate scores out of their reviews, just general reviews, is a 92. The Bros is a 94, and I think on Untapped it's like above a 4. Check. Yeah, it's a 4.
Don't you believe it?
Yeah, it's good. It's worth buying.
Well, you got 3 sips out of me, so there you go.
Unless
wow,
it's, I'd say it's
better
worth
than it could have
buying.
been.
Yeah, I was expecting a 1.
Yeah, 1 point for each sip.
Keep
You
going.
should finish it. I think you should have to finish
That's it. That's it. Oh, I did finish it. There were 3 huge sips. It's
That used to be a rule on the show.
See,
You had
it's gone.
to finish the beer you opened.
It's gone.
I think
gone.
that's.
Oh, I'm finished.
We do have one more Lagunitas coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And if it'll be interesting to see. It's so different, but I mean that'll be fun.
Lagunitas, I admire you trying to make a profit, but maybe you could make some beers that are more commercially viable.
You know what's interesting though, Rob, is you are so unpredictable when it comes to hoppy beers. There are some that I think are really over the top hoppy, and you actually like them. So I think it depends on the type of hops that they're using.
Because listen, I'm honest with the folks. I am true blue. If I can,
apply, the rest of us are lying about our liking of hops.
No, you're hop sycophant, so it's okay. But I will rate a beer truthfully on if I think that what they're going for is effective. I mean, even though I may not like it and may not drink it again, I will rate it fairly. This one, nope.
We got to get you
Not
some
good.
of their stouts because Lagunitas does some really impressive stouts.
What's the beer for next time? What kind of beer is it?
We haven't.
Or are you
chosen
keeping
yet.
it a secret?
We
You
have.
said he had one more
We haven't
Lagunitas.
picked one. We have. We
Yeah,
have.
but we weren't necessarily doing it next time.
Let's do the next. Do
want to do
Lagunitas
it?
next one.
Yeah, so
That'd be
So
good.
what is it?
it's
Back
the
to back.
Waldo's Special, which is a triple IPA.
Oh, Jesus.
It's so different.
Rob
Actually,
said
it
something
is different.
interesting. Make something that's commercially viable. Given the success of Lagunitas and the
I know.
huge payout they just got, I think what they're doing is very commercially viable.
Yeah. I think Rob knows that too. He complains about it being not commercially viable, and yet, most of the craft beer lovers are, and the craft beer scene in general is driven by the hoppy beers.
Give another
So
try.
the fact that he's on a show that's about craft beer.
Listen, when Lagunitas sponsors a show, then maybe,
Hear that, guys?
All right, Gary.
Send some
right.
coasters our way.
So that was
Until
a
then-
7. That was a 7 overall. So we got close to the Untapped score here, and nowhere near the Beer Advocate score. So not too bad. Not too bad for a very hoppy beer.
All right, leaving the beer far behind while the gentlemen continue to drink it. But we move ever forward onto our topic segment. It's time for Pint Take and Go.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Because I like to move it. That's why.
You just cut it off in the middle.
This is wrong.
So, how up are you on your planetoid moons?
Pluto's not even a planet, and now we're talking about
So I said
moon.
planetoid. It does have a moon.
Yeah, that's not even legitimate.
So Charon is Pluto's moon, and when the New Horizons mission did a flyby of Pluto, which if you haven't looked at the photos that sent back from Pluto, just amazing. Go back and look. Truly spectacular. One of the things that they noticed was that there was a big red splotch right in the middle of Charon. And it was like a bloodshot eyeball almost, just a huge red spot. I mean, it takes up, about a third, if not almost a half, of the visible diameter of Charon. And they could not figure out what the heck is that? Why is that there? Well, they figured it out. It actually is a dust and gaseous collection that has kind of floated off of Pluto, gotten caught in the gravitational pull of Charon, and kind of settled down into this kind of splotchy area.
That's not exactly what I read about.
That's what it's saying.
What I heard, is that basically Pluto's a bit gassy.
Yeah. So that was the next part, Keith. Thanks for spoiling the punchline.
That's methane, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's methane. So, the long story short, Pluto's farting on Charon. Pluto gave Charon a Dutch oven.
That alone should get it promoted back to planetoid, to full planet level.
In my mind, Pluto will always be a planet.
We've got a couple gas giants, and they don't leave crap on their moons.
Nope.
Literally.
Now, the article that we have linked in our show notes, which is off of Gizmodo, kind of makes a few insinuations. It says that the finding does more than just explain a strange patch of color. It also shows that Pluto and its moon Charon have an unusually close relationship. Keith got the music.
I've been really trying, baby. Trying to hold back and
Oh, Pluto.
oh,
Charon. Come over here, my dear. I got something for you. I got some methane right up in here.
Come on.
Stick that right in the middle of you, baby. Let's get it on.
That 8.5% for 3 sips sure hit you hard.
You are a sweet talker, Rob.
Yeah. So what I guess the big finding is that that this is kind of the first time that they've seen something like this, where the way they explain it, that the two bodies, planetary bodies, are kind of sharing an atmosphere. That particles travel back and forth depending on gravitational fluxes and all that kind of good stuff, which is kind of weird and something that they're going to look for more of. And I think this is great. I'm a huge, as we've documented on the show many times, huge space nut. And anytime we get any kind of cool space news, every time it's like we learn something new and totally different that just flies in the face of everything we thought before.
What's interesting is that, I mean, Pluto's in our solar system, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there is, in universal terms, our solar system's like our neighborhood, right?
Right.
There's so much that we don't know about our own galactic neighborhood, and to be finding these things out is pretty amazing that they have the technology and the knowledge and background to be able to interpret data from a probe that was sent from Earth, like 4 or 5 years ago, to even get out there. It's just absolutely stunning to me that they can even do this kind of science and figure this kind of crap out. Because to me, I'd just rather sit around and drink beer. And then you got these people out there at Lowell Observatory in Arizona coming up with this stuff. I don't know how they do it.
So the other portion of the news, which I didn't link in the show notes, I wanted to talk just really quickly about Proxima B. Proxima Centauri is a star very, very close to Earth. In fact, it's one of the closest stars to Earth, if not the closest. I can't see it from here. Not the star, but the article. And they found a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri, they're calling it Proxima B, which they think could be an Earth-like planet. They think it could be. So I bring this up because there has been a rumor flying around, with all the many rumors flying around, especially this week in the political world. Hello, Hillary Clinton body double. One of the rumors that has been floating around is that President Obama wants to go out of office with a bang. And the rumor is, I don't know how credible this is, but it was reported in a number of sources. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sulu. Exactly. The rumor is he is going to acknowledge the existence of life on other planets and give proof before he leaves office.
That would be. I could care less who gives that proof.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be pretty cool for someone to actually do that. I don't know that they have the data to back it up yet at this point. The old joke always is, the proof that there is intelligent life in the solar system, the reason we know that there is because they haven't contacted us yet.
Okay, well,
that's all they have said.
Here's the thing. Well, there's rumors, even more speculative rumors, that has happened as well. That is the reason for one of the reasons for the divulging of this information.
Like intelligent life in the universe? Not
exactly.
Just life.
No, intelligent life.
Oh,
so
okay.
Some have speculated that
they're not talking about Trump, right?
No, not at all. Some have speculated that they used if you remember the news from last year about the discovery of water on Mars, some have said that they've used they used that story as a test balloon to see how the public would react to something of that magnitude, which basically all but guarantees that at one time there was life on Mars. And there was a lot of interest in it. Obviously, we talked about it on our show. But then, the way our society is, we kind of move on to the next story in the news cycle and forget all about it. So they kind of use that as the test balloon to say, what would happen if we came out and said that there was intelligent life? Sure, it would be a huge story, but eventually people would move on. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it's true or not, but I think it's kind of interesting. They have said in press conferences, his press secretary has said he wants to go out with a bang. So he's going to announce something big. Whether that's a good thing, a bad thing, or maybe just a really cool thing, I guess time will tell.
Maybe he's going to do some kind of like really cool promo for that new Star Trek series they got coming on CBS Almost Access.
Oh,
and tie it into that, and that'll like boost that show.
Well, if they did, then they haven't been talking it over with Paramount too closely, because they should have timed it. I mean, it was supposed to come out in January, which is right when he's leaving office, but now it's been postponed until May.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yes, the news came out just this afternoon that Star Trek Discovery has been postponed until May.
Game over.
Thank you, Keith.
Until CBS can figure out their business model?
Yeah,
more or less.
Our friend Paulie in the Slack chat kind of joked that this may give Netflix the chance to, CBS the chance to redecide how they're distributing it on Netflix and CBS All Access, but I don't think there's going to be any such luck in that.
No, that's all stupidity.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the best time to release a sci-fi heavy show is in going into the summertime, but we'll see.
Yeah, sci-fi geeks don't really get outside anyway.
That's true. It's all streaming now and binge watch, so who cares? All right.
I was watching in the middle of the night, so who cares?
Speaking of the geeks, Netflix. Guys, Netflix is going up against the FCC, and who would have thought in a battle between Netflix and the FCC, the David and Goliath, that Netflix is actually playing the part of the Goliath?
Yeah.
So if you don't know what this is about, Netflix is going up against the ACC to fight. They're actually asking them to fight back against internet service providers, or ISPs, against placing data caps on their service, which, Keith and many of us who have ISPs, jerky ISPs, are well aware. They're putting a limit on the number of gigs you can use within a month. We have that. And so with streaming becoming ever more popular and streaming on multiple devices, that can get kind of expensive. In fact, we just had to up our package to the utmost, which is unlimited data for a month, but we're paying extra for it. But we were just hitting our cap every month. So,
what does that cost you, just out of curiosity?
Well, we pay for it. The package is based on, wow.
Jeremy, too much, because apparently they're coming to take Rob away now for breaking his cap.
I think Jeremy's maybe
sprung
a leak or something.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
I pay for the speed, which we pay for 150 megabits per second service, but then that's capped at 550 gigs a month, and we're paying It's only $5 extra to get unlimited gigs per month, so it wasn't that bad, but it was a little more.
So 150 megabits per month.
150. That's the speed. That's the download speed.
Yeah. Okay.
But 550 gigs was the cap limit on that service, but now we get unlimited.
550 gigs?
Yeah.
Wow. You're all kinds of Pirate Bay. You're going over that.
Yeah.
No, not at all. If you watch a 1 hour show on Netflix, that's a gig.
Yeah.
What was the cap?
Right. So you're watching 550 hours a month or more.
Well, I mean, on top of computers and Xbox and work and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So if you were getting your full download bandwidth, which you probably aren't, and
we're topping out at about 50.
You would download about 0.15 gigabyte per second, right? So that doesn't take very long to add up to their bandwidth cap if you were topped out.
It does not.
That's ridiculous.
Hence Netflix asking, or basically arm twisting the FCC, putting in what they call a comment filing, They've said that the caps are an unnecessary constraint on advanced telecommunications capability.
I agree. And I work in telecom. I agree with Netflix.
But, of course, that flies in the face of another topic we've discussed on the show before, net neutrality.
How does that... I didn't understand that. How does that fly in the face of net
Yeah,
neutrality?
that's someone using net neutrality poorly.
Yeah, I agree with Keith.
So they say while data caps on mobile networks are at least there for a reason, but they are too low. They say data caps on fixed line networks do not appear to serve a legitimate purpose. They are an ineffective network management tool.
I agree with that completely, and I don't see how that has anything to do with
Yeah,
net neutrality.
wireline networks have no management overhead that would require a cap. They should be able to run pretty much full bore, and just it's not hurting them any more or any less.
Well,
mobile networks have an argument, though it's not a good one. But at least they have an argument.
Even in wireline, you do have capacity within the physical infrastructure of the network that the service providers do have to pay for those upgrades. But the thing is, they've already paid for a lot of those upgrades to enable the mobile data.
I mean, but they can run. You could run flat out on a wired ISP, and it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah,
there's not going to be any damage to be done.
Yeah. The bandwidth caps on a wireline
it's
network
not going to cost them any more than ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. So you're right. It's not costing them anything additional. The bandwidth caps are only a way for them to milk extra money out of the consumer. And by Netflix saying there shouldn't be bandwidth caps, to me kind of supports net neutrality, because originally the internet was just open. You just got online and you did whatever, and you didn't think about bandwidth caps. Your concern was how fast is my modem back in the day, or how fast is my speed. That was the major concern. You weren't thinking about how much data you were consuming or how much stuff you were downloading. So the bandwidth caps are just a way for people those internet service providers to drag additional revenues out of consumers, because they had already fixed them at a cost for their access fees.
Well, so I mean, to play the evil...
net neutrality argument has just been dragged out on both sides of the issue to claim that it works for them. It supports their own things. So net neutrality really doesn't have anything to do with caps, but people opposed to caps say it's a net neutrality issue. People in favor of caps say it's a net neutrality issue. It's
you bring up a really good point, Keith, because then you're right. The net neutrality is brought up on both sides of the argument, so much so to the fact that everyday consumers or media got people like me who I don't know that much about the business, and especially about the technical side of it. One day you may ask me what net neutrality is. I might not be able to tell you.
That's because the service providers that want to charge people more for internet stuff have had very successful PR campaigns to muddy the waters of what net neutrality is. There used to be, a few years ago, it was very clear: free and open internet, no constraints. You give them a connection and let people do what they want with that connection. Right. And they've changed that discussion, and their PR machine has been very effective in confusing the average consumer and even clouding what people think about net neutrality and what the internet should be. They've turned it around
and even writing policy under the heading of net neutrality that is not neutral.
Yeah. So they basically they've taken arguments that were like, in order to have a free and open market, we need to do away with certain things, or the government doesn't need to interfere. And the way they want the government to, the way that net neutrality people want the government to quote unquote interfere is to say, don't put constraints on the internet. But the service providers have spun that as saying the government's interfering with our business by telling us what we can and can't do. And really what the government's trying to, or what the net neutrality people are saying, is that the government should have a policy that anybody can do what they want with their internet connection. So it's gotten completely twisted and confused over the last few years in terms of what net neutrality really is. And nobody really knows at this point what that phrase net neutrality really means.
Gary, that's confusing.
Well, good news, folks. Supposedly the Russians and the Chinese are about to take over the internet, so no problem.
I hope so. You know, I gotta go grab the Goza from last week. I never drank.
Oh
that.
yeah, you gotta catch up.
You do that, because while he does that, it's a good time to march on to our Half Pints pick segments of the week. All right,
what's
Jeremy
pretty
is
awesome?
the first. Yeah, can I do a pre-pick of the week? I want to. My pre-pick of the week is Keith Allen Seifert, because he has been Johnny on the spot with sound effects tonight.
I was gonna say after 3.
Holy smokes, we're like a regular show now.
After 3 seasons, we have that sound down like 90% of the time. We are rocking this.
You got damn lucky when you dropped that relationship one on me. If I didn't have Love staring at me on the screen right there, we would have ended up with a who knows what.
Folks, if you think I'm lying, go back to season 1 of the Pine No Return show,
or
and
season 2.
You will see us literally.
Most of season.
Yeah, maybe begin the season.
Literally, 2 episodes ago.
You'll literally see us sitting there for about 10-15 seconds while Keith decides, sound effect. Bumper music. But tonight, Keith, boy, just amazing.
Let's get ready to rumble!
All right, Michael Buffer, pick segments time. Jeremy wants to talk about a YouTube channel that he's been interested in. Jeremy, what do you got?
So my pick this week is a YouTube channel called Cinefix. They have a ton of stuff, and it's all related to movies in some way or another. The one I stumbled on today was in their trailer mix section, which was Monty Python and the Holy Grail recut as a crazy intense drama. They cut this together as a trailer, but with music and timing that made it seem like a very serious movie. And that led me to some other things under their movie list section. And this is what I thought would probably be, I won't say interesting to Rob, but they have a lot of lists, like the top 10 best character arcs in film, 5 brilliant moments of action, the 10 best structured movies of all time, the 10 best character introductions of all time. So anytime somebody comes up with an all-time list of anything about movies, I know this guy, and he's going to have some thoughts about the validity of those lists. So that's when I thought Rob would be able to watch these videos and just either say, that's a good pick, or just rip it to shreds.
Yeah. I mean, I love this. I just subscribed to this channel. It is great. In addition to the Monty Python one, which I watched like 10 seconds of while you were talking, Shawshank Redemption as an upbeat romance.
All right, I mean,
Meet the Parents recut as a thriller. Jurassic Park as a nature documentary. The Hangover is a Hitchcock-style thriller. Oh my gosh, I'm in. And then they've got 8-bit cinema. That's right, scenes from movies in 8-bit. Yes, count me in.
Oh man.
Yeah, that looks all kinds of awesome.
Great. Okay, man, I'm not gonna get any work done tomorrow.
The Revenant in 8-bit. Oh, I gotta watch that.
Oh my god. Oh, they're gonna have the bear attack in 8-bit. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
That's awesome.
Star Wars in 8-bit. We kind of seen that with
I always our Star Wars in ASCII, so I mean it doesn't.
No, it's great though. It's
lower bit rate than that.
How about Edward Scissorhands makeup tutorial? Keith, here you go. Make Lilu's costume from The Fifth Element.
Yeah,
Well, I think just 3 strips of duct tape. I'm good.
Oh, I know what Cindy's dressing up for Halloween.
Yeah, right.
All right. All right, Jeremy, good pick.
So that's my pick. And if you have time, I know you're busy watching 8-bit cinema and trailer remixes. I would be curious to know your take on a few of these movie lists, because
Absolutely. I
I'm
love
not-
lists.
I'm not a movie
I smell
genius.
a whole nother show coming up based on this channel now.
Yeah, we could do that for sure.
All right, next
Anyway,
week is
that's my
next
pick,
week.
Cinefix.
I'm calling it right now. Next week is Cinefix week. That's it. We're talking Cinemix. All right. Gary has a movie that he wants to talk about. A movie that's just about to come out, I think.
Just came out.
Just came out. Sorry.
I should talk about the Ready Set Goza.
Oh yeah, quick give us your rundown on that.
Should not have had this after the Lucky 13 because this
It's gonna taste a little weak and bland, I bet.
it tastes exactly like water.
Maybe salty water, but yeah.
Jeremy said that in the chat. He's like, it's basically water, so you're okay. It looks good. I really can't give it a fair rating, so I got another can that I'll drink in there in a couple days and give it a better rating because it's not really fair to drink it after something with so much flavor.
You know what? You're going to be shoveling more dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go shovel some more dirt for a few hours and then grab your other can.
That would be perfect.
Rate it based on that.
Yep.
It's not bad. There's nothing bad that I'm tasting. I mean, it's like some beers we've had. It's like, there's this off thing, or that just
But it's tough to follow Lucky 13 with that. It's so much lighter.
Because it's so much lighter and it's such a simpler kind of flavor.
I mean, it tastes like a wheat beer, kind of with a little salt added.
Well, all right, you got it. But I think you'll appreciate it more after shoveling dirt.
I'll give it. I could use the salt because I was sweating out a lot of those important things. So, yeah.
Oh my God, they did Harry Potter movies cut as Breakfast Club. Oh my God.
I told
that's the greatest thing ever.
I told you this would be a tangent. I knew it.
Sorry, Gary, go ahead. What's your pick, buddy?
This thing on YouTube called Cineflix.
Here we go.
Sorry.
They have all these anyway. What was my pick? Oh, Hell or High Water. It's a movie starring Captain Kirk as basically an outlaw. It's what's his name? Chris Pine.
It's Picard, but that's okay.
No, it's Chris Pine. He's Kirk.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'm right.
I thought you were talking about the movie with Patrick Stewart as a Nazi, as a neo-Nazi. Sorry, you're right. You're right. Chris Pine.
So anyway, it's basically a Western, but set in modern times. So kind of on the order of what was the one that was out with? They actually had the picture on Cineflix with that guy. Anyway, it's basically a Western, and it's good. It's really well done. I thought the acting was right on for the roles. I watched 310 to Yuma not that long ago, probably within the last couple of months, which had a real old-time Western feel to it as well. And this one was like, set in West Texas. These poor guys, they turn into bank robbers. It's kind of the story of them robbing these banks and a lawman out to get them and kind of what happens. And as Westerns go, not everything goes very well for people, but there's some redeeming things about the movie. It was just a really well done, well acted. Nick Cave did the music for it, and the music was absolutely perfect. It was just awesome the way the songs blended in with the scenes that they were set into. So it's out in the theaters now. I recommend going to see it, especially if you like the sort of Western, bank robber bandit kind of movies. It's definitely worth seeing. And Chris Pine did a really good job in this role. It was a different kind of role for him than the kind of action hero Captain Kirk kind of thing that he's been doing a lot of.
Awesome.
Cool.
No Country for Old Men. That's what I was thinking.
Sure.
But not nearly. Not nearly as depressing.
Javier Bardem,
That's it. Yeah.
which is probably just one of the most unredeeming movies I've ever seen. There's just nothing.
This movie was had a lot of similarities in sort of style and genre, but had redeeming qualities to it. So
Okay, good. My wife and I made an effort to watch No Country for Old Men because it won the Academy Award. We finished it. We're like, how the hell did this win awards?
that was a good movie.
All right.
It was really well done. It was just a sad, sad story.
Yeah. Keith. Pick.
Yo!
Go ahead, Hearthstone.
I'm not picking Hearthstone, although I did say that this is a throwback pick because I've picked this before.
Whoa.
But we've got to go back. To go back to my original pick, you're gonna have to come back with me on a little journey, way back to the heady days of the iPad 2. Yeah,
Sure.
remember that? When the only thing on the iPad was really puzzle games. We hadn't really done anything else yet with it. We were pretty much thrilled with maps and the fact that we could pinch and zoom and find our house.
Sure, you had Netflix on it.
And that was about it. Yeah, I said for games is what I meant. But there was an app that came out back in that time that I've kind of rediscovered right now, and it hasn't changed any. Good. No, Hearthstone was not born yet. Stop it.
It was just a glint in Blizzard's eye.
It was a
Kicking
gleam.
their pants.
It was a gleam.
What's the app, Keith?
But the app is called, it's a game called Olo. And what it is it's a real simple game, but what's cool about it is you play head-to-head on the iPad, on one iPad. So basically, imagine a situation where you meet a friend at a bar or maybe for lunch on Friday at a pizza place. And for some reason, halfway through, you're kind of stuck as to what to talk about, and you've kind of gone over everything else, and you got a few more minutes to kill. Well, you pull out you pull out your iPad and you drop it on the table between you, and you play a game of Olo. And all it is a series of discs that you're trying to flip across the screen to land in the point scoring zone on the other side. Kind of a simplified version of shuffleboard, if nothing else. The other player has his own disc, and he can use them to try to score points or try to move your Olos out of the scoring zone. And when everybody's Olos are all worn out or used up, the final score is what it is. It's very simple, but it's a great game to play while you're having a beer.
It's like a shuffleboard on the iPad.
It is. It's kind of like it's even simpler though. There's not even any complex scoring. You either get a point for your Olo being in the zone or not. Cool. But it's the same type of thing where you can knock another player's out. You can bounce yours off the wall and get them back. There's some interesting strategy and skill involved. It's great to play with kids. Like my 4-year-old gets it, and she almost kicked my butt earlier on it today. My 13-year-old gets it, but it's the same thing. I can go meet my friend Ben at the bar, and while we're having our great craft beers downtown, we can be doing this in the middle of the table at the same time. It's just a wonderful little something, and I don't think it costs anything. If anything, it's not more than like $2.99. But it's just a great little game, and you got to get it. It works. I don't think it even plays on a phone. I think you've got to have an iPad for it. But if you do and you have it with you, it's just super, super great, simple, easy to play. Takes like a second to teach somebody it, so it's not like complex directions or anything. But there's enough strategy and replayability to just keep going. You can play online with other people, but since you can't see the other people, it loses almost everything not being an in-person social game, I think.
That looks really cool. I'm going to check that out.
It is really cool. And like I said, I think I made it a pick on this show probably 3 years ago when we started this. If not on PNRShow before that. This is PNRShow. What was it? Happy Time Magic Hour before that. So, and it's definitely a great thing just to have in your pocket when you're out to dinner or something. It's just cool. Shows off the wonders of the iPad with a stupidly simple game. It's just so addicting.
All right, very good. My pick for the week is a new series that I've started on Netflix called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
I'm just about to
And-
start that too.
Yeah, this was a book written a few years back by a woman. I think her name was Susanna Clark, and it tells a story of 18th century England, and it's an alternate reality or alternate history, excuse me, a story in which many people acknowledge that there once was magic in the world, and that magic was used to protect the realm against invaders, against calamities, anything that kind of rose up against England, and many countries used it. But over the last 300 years, it's basically faded out of all existence, and no one knows what happens to it. And there is a society of what they call themselves magicians who meet to talk about magic, but none of them actually ever believe that it can be found or that it even should be found. So these two magicians don't believe it and go and find this really kind of reclusive magician by the name of Mr. Norrell, who has in fact found magic and a way to use it. And he's looking for it in order to help Britain in a war against France. So I've only gotten the first episode in. And granted, and I did hear this from other people, so it's not surprising me, granted the first episode at least is a little on the slow side as it kind of builds some things up. But I'm told that once the roller coaster starts, you're just hanging on for dear life as it goes crazy. It's put out by the BBC, and I will tell you that the special effects they've done for a television show for the magic that they have rival anything I've seen in Lord of the Rings or the Harry Potter movies. It's just fantastically and just really nicely done, and it's very well acted, and I'm looking forward to watching the next 7 episodes. So it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Yeah, that's been recommended to me too about 60 times. So
Yeah, me too.
probably as soon as we kill off one of the series we're working on, we'll probably just swap that one in.
Is that a new one, or has it been around for a while?
It's been on
2
Netflix for a
weeks.
few months.
No, it hasn't been that long.
Really?
I want to say less than a month, but I might be wrong.
So that was books, right?
It was
It's a
books.
book.
Yeah.
Some books.
Yeah, my wife's read the books, and I think my daughter has too. I'm not sure about that.
A really thick, very dry book. I started it and couldn't finish it. So, yeah. So very, very good. And they've already confirmed that they're doing a season 2, which is great.
They've confirmed that one really fast, and it took them forever to confirm Stranger Things season 2. How does that work?
I think it's a difference in the really in the showrunners, if you will, the Duffer brothers who run Stranger Things. They it's their baby. I mean, they basically wrote it, they produced it, they directed it. They're kind of in charge of the whole schmear. So Netflix was really beholden to them to say, hey, we really want to do another season, and they kind of took it back and they intended it to be a one-off. At least that's what the interviews that I've read said, that they didn't intend for it to be carried on to a season or more than one season. And but it was so popular and so big and so huge that Netflix came and said, you got to do another series, and probably threw gobs of money at them. So they went back and kind of sat for a while and tried to figure out what could we do or what should we do.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised when they did announce that it was going to go to second season, is because everything I had read up until that point said that it was going to just be a one-off, and I was ready for it just to be a one-off, and I thought it was awesome as an ending for a one-off, and I was almost disappointed that it went to a second season.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about the second season. It's great that we're going to get more of it, but I'm worried that we're going to get more of it, if that makes sense.
No, that's exactly where I am. That's totally where I am.
But Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell is such a huge volume, and from what I understand, the first season doesn't even get to half of what's in the main book. So the material was already there for them to go ahead with. So that's where they're at. So just further evidence that I saw a couple articles this week about how bad the movie box office was this past summer, and just how we've basically switched from a movie-going culture to more of a streaming series, limited series kind of a culture. I mean, I think all the really great entertainment right now is in these limited series that are streaming.
I agree with that. I really like the quick series where you have 8 to 10 episodes.
That's a very British thing, and I like that it's catching on in Netflix and in other places now. I like that as a series rather than a season type thing.
Yeah.
But the American thing to do is to try to milk that into multiple seasons. We've seen that happen with a lot of things where it was like really good at something, and now they're trying to redo it. We talked about that with the fall TV lineup, where there's so many things that are being rehashed. It's like,
they do, but showrunners nowadays, especially ones that have shows on streaming services, they seem to have, at least from what I've noticed, a lot more flexibility, and they're using some of these series, great though they may be, as stepping stones to kind of write their own tickets to do whatever they want. It's not that the paradigm isn't so much do a series for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, get the syndication money, and just live off the fat of what you've done. It's do a really great series, build up your reputation, go to the next thing, and you're basically directing and running your own project.
Right, but if the next big thing is a movie and the series are taking over where the movies were, shouldn't the end all be all be the series now? We haven't quite caught our own tail on this one.
yeah.
It remains to be seen. I mean, you got the Benioff and Weiss who do the Game of Thrones, who they've basically committed to doing this series and seeing it all the way through. But it's a 7-year commitment for them. But when they're finished with this, they're going to basically be able to do anything they want in television or movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the box office this year has been more, in terms of numbers and revenue, it's been more, the factor has been really the quality of the movies that are out there. I mean, there just weren't that many good movies around, especially later in the summer.
What do you think about, though, that a lot of people pushed off movies for fear of Star Wars, for fear of the next big Marvel one, and everybody's trying to get away from some of those automatic blockbusters.
Well,
and I think they might have pushed off too far because they left holes available.
I think that's probably the case. I mean, there have been times in the last couple of months where Gilly and I were like, we should go see a movie. We haven't been to the movies, and we actually like going to the theater, and there was just nothing. We were just there. We were looking at what was at the movie theater, and it was like, there's just literally nothing that we want to see at the movies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the big movies for this year. So far, domestically, it's Finding Dory, Captain America are the top 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's Captain America was pretty much, that's another Marvel movie. You're going to make a certain amount of money on that.
Yeah.
Marvel cannot seem to miss.
And a ton of animation this summer.
Yeah.
It seems like more than normal, but it's not. It's just because there's not as much other good stuff to offset it.
But as an adult who has kids that are all teenagers or older now, I don't really care that much about animation anymore. I mean, I don't know. It felt like there was a real hole.
Just kids' movies in general. I mean, looking at the list, 4 of the top 6 domestic movies this year were kids' movies.
Yeah, and those were all summer camps going to see those movies because they had nothing else to do to entertain the kids during the day.
Maybe. But I honestly think that, I think maybe there's something to what you're saying, that maybe the quality isn't as good. But I think there's something also to be said for what Keith and I were mentioning before, is that we're becoming a streaming culture. And I think the real talent now is in these television series as opposed to movies. It's really shifted.
Well, I think the television series too is allowing people to be more creative. Rob has always said that the tent poles allow the movie industry to do other things. Well, they're not doing other things.
No, they're
just
very
there's just more and more
The tent poles. Well, Keith, you're exactly right. The tent poles are all that's left now.
Yeah, tent poles are begetting other tent poles.
Right.
That's it. Nobody's doing anything really interesting in the movies right now.
Well,
where all the interesting stuff is on Netflix and HBO.
Yeah. And it's
Amazon Prime.
And you even draw the stars into those kinds of things, into the series. I mean, look at True Detective as an example. I know season 2 wasn't very well liked in terms of fan appreciation, but I mean that's Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey executive producing that series. I mean, those are two pretty big Hollywood box office names, and they're doing a series-based show.
The other series that's really good at that and drawing, well, a lot of them are. It's because of the limited nature of these. They're not having to commit a full year or 6 months of their lives. They get them done in like 2 months, 3 months, and they're out of there. And they're throwing gobs of money at them. But the one that I think, at least on broadcast television or on television itself, is American History or American Horror Story.
Oh yeah, because those are different.
That's drawing major stars.
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I mean, the quality of movies is dropping. They've moved everything to the blockbuster. If it's not a blockbuster, the movie studios don't want to really deal with it or risk it.
If it's not a blockbuster, it's being moved to an eight episode series on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you have two Academy Award nominated or one Academy Award winning guy and Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright have doing House of Cards for 4 years now, which is just, I mean, for him to headline a series for that long would have just been unheard of like 5 years ago.
Yeah, but unless he wants to play a superhero, there's nothing for him in the movies right now.
It's true. It's true. Anyway, so give Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell a try. It is really, really good. I know it's going to heat up pretty soon. So, all right, we got a couple minutes left. So real quick, I know the guys in the chat said something. We had some feedback. Real quick, what is it?
We don't have time for real quick feedback, which is why we said we weren't going to do it.
Oh, there is Keith saying we can save it. Okay, sorry. I'm 10 minutes behind in that.
We actually have about half a dozen or so feedbacks we could go through that all reference old shows.
Ooh. So all right, cool. So
we
next
probably
week,
do that sometime, but
all right. So here's the thing:
not in the last 2 minutes of this show.
All right. So next week we are going to drink Waldo's Special IPA from Lagunitas, and we're going to do feedback and Cinefix. That's going to be our show next week. Look at that. We have it all planned out.
Sounds good.
Next week, Gary's not here.
Oh.
The next week we're all together. We'll do Waldo.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to try to make that up with another beer. That's asking too much.
Oh. So all those,
that would be a challenge.
So all those plans just went shit out the window. Okay.
Sorry. I will be traveling next week in Maryland. So
I'm traveling next week as well. I can only broadcast on Wednesday. So. Okay. Well, we'll talk. Anyway, there was an idea for a show, and in some reality, that show is going to happen, but not this one. In the meantime, gentlemen, any closing thoughts while Keith plays us out?
I'd rather have lager than wine.
I guess not.
Awesome. you can talk over the music. We all know what it is. Jeremy, I really want to see you do the. I want to see you do the cigarette trick in the throat.
And I need a robot voice.
No, what you do, Jeremy, is you go up to your wife and you say, "I think something's wrong."
She might really kill him then.
I feel funny. See you guys.
See ya.